Before the video begins, I would like to make a disclaimer. The tweets that both Nux Taku and VShojo girls, some of them have been removed by the making of this video. Because of the fact that I have put this project on pause for quite a while, so some of the stuff that happened in November of 2021 either does not exist anymore or was shown in other videos, and I used that to regather the screenshots so I like to point that out. Some of the stuff I may not show because of the fact that some of the tweets have since been removed, but I will post a link to all the video sources that have them in there. Link everyone's video that I referenced and used throughout this video. So without further ado, let's get on the video.
Someone is out there impersonating VShojo, the massive VTuber group. They tried to steal my info, dox me, and swat me, and they've successfully done this to many other VTubers.
Nux Taku's video on the subject gained a lot of backlash. There's been rumors floating around that many of the members of VShojo had asked Nux Taku to not talk about this subject in a video.
They claimed that the very existence of the video jeopardized the safety of the entire community by giving attention to the swatter. They claimed that the information out there could lead others to do the same. And most importantly, they claimed that Nux was told not to post the video altogether.
Did they really beg him that hard, or did they just passively ask? How did he respond even? Was he rude? Did he ignore them completely?
Part of me is starting to think that Neanders is actually upset that this video is making VShojo looking really bad.
I am sorry. I messed up, and I would like to give you a timeline of events, but it does not right any of the wrongs that I've made.
Well, you know, a lot of that is because they send like these sponsorship emails to like random YouTubers, and they'll be like, "Oh, Raid Shadow Legends, you're gonna pay me $9,000 to like fucking play," and you click on a link, your channel's hijacked because they grab your tokens and everything.
Hello there. My name is Trickyreborn Studios. For the past few days, I have been researching an incident that's transpired not that long ago, and that is the Nux Taku and the VShojo drama. Now, those names probably don't ring a bell to the view of someone who doesn't watch the style of content that Nux and VShojo make. So I'll give a brief rundown of what Nux and VShojo are. Nux Taku is an anime and video game content creator that makes analytic videos on things he's passionate about with satirical type of comedy along with dank memes that may or may not be unironically quotable.
As a guy, I am completely qualified of answering any and all questions you may have. I am so proud of who I am. I will answer you with forthright and honesty.
Do you like tall girls or short girls?
Men.
Alright,
Let's go!
And he's also a great singer.
You say the price of my love's not a price that you're willing to pay. You cry in your tweets that you hurl in the breeze as you see my memes fly. Why so mad?
VShojo is a company that is owned by a man named Gunrun. The company primarily focuses on live streaming on the platform known as Twitch. These live streamers are hosted by 8 virtual avatars, or VTubers as they are more commonly known. These 8 hosts are Neanders, Melody, Fruit, Centrea, Silverveil, Iron Mouse, Hajime, and Viabe. Now that you have a brief understanding of who these people are, I think it's time we discuss the main topic at hand. Before we begin that, I should make a bit of a disclaimer. In this video, I tried my best to keep this as evenly as I can. That way, it doesn't come off like I'm biased or showing favoritism to whichever side of the spectrum. I also encourage you, by the end of this video, to come up with your own conclusion of the matter. The conclusion that I came to is primarily from the research I've done and looked at on which one I felt was right, or at the very least, technically right. So like I said, come to your own conclusion by the end of this video. I will also try to make sure that no harm happens to either Nux or the 8 VShojo girls, to keep it safe for both and respect for their privacy. So without further ado, let's begin this case. About a month ago, when the event took place, there was a person who was impersonating the company VShojo, where their motive was to take their info and then swat them. Knowing this, Nux took it upon himself that he should at least warn people about the situation, for not only his safety, but for the safety of others within the VTuber community. This then prompted Nux to make a video talking about it, when he made a public tweet that he will be releasing a video about the situation, which at the time of me writing this, the video has been deleted. In this video, Nux talks about how he got the email from the company VShojo that he's been accepted to the program and that they would have needed his information for acceptance to be fulfilled.
One fine morning, I get an email, and it says, "Hey, you have just been accepted into VShojo, the VTuber organization talent agency thingo."
However, the problem with this is that Nux never applied to be a member of VShojo. He has not once sent an application to VShojo to be a member of the company.
And when I saw this email, I was like, that's very sus. I never applied to VShojo. So how is it that I was accepted? It's like, yes, the application was accepted anyway.
Nux decides to talk to the individual, and for the remainder of this video, we'll be calling him by the name of Scammer, for simplicity's sake. Nux then gets into a conversation with the scammer, out of curiosity if this was legit or not, to even having what I can assume is the exact replica of a VShojo contract.
But I will have you know that the email was very professionally put together and their domain was VShojo. So I found all this very interesting and decided to actually talk to the individual, because at this point I was pretty certain that they were the real deal. I just didn't know why they would accept me if I never applied. After talking to him for a while and him asking me a lot of questions and actually telling me a lot of details about VShojo that I knew were correct because of my own personal connections and things that I knew beforehand, but also knew that the public did not know. So I was like really teeter-tottering on whether this was the real deal or not. He showed me the actual contracts of VShojo when he was trying to prove that he was legit, and the contracts looked very legit. They had the signature of the Gunrun, the CEO of VShojo, and they were the real deal.
Not only does the scammer have emails pretending to be VShojo, but also apparently has the contract ready on the shelf. I don't know about you, but that's a first for me. Anyways, Nux then contacts the owner of VShojo, the Gunrun, asking him if this is for real. Gunrun then replies that no, this is not a member of the staff, but in fact a scam. Gunrun also mentions that they were actually aware of the scammer and the things he was doing.
At this point, I message the Gunrun, who follows me on Twitter. Let's go, absolute legend. I say, yo, send him a screenshot of the email. I say, is this legit? Is this your guy? And he says, no. We knew about this guy for 2 weeks. He is doxing and swatting VTubers. And I was like, yo, this has to be made public, which is when I tweeted out this tweet.
So after knowing that this is a massive scam, Nux contacts back the scammer and gives him his old phone number as a way of fooling the scammer into believing that he's got Nux's number. All seemed fine, but unfortunately, it got a VTuber known as Saki to be swatted in the process.
And when I got back to Mr. Doxer guy, I gave him my wrong name and I gave him my wrong phone number. I got a new phone number in between this, just in case he were to call, and he did! He texted me, and I will tell you why this is very cool in but a moment. He texted me on the phone number that I just got as a burner phone. It was pretty great. I'm very proud of myself, patting myself on the back for the epic foresight. Unfortunately, I got in touch with a VTuber who was swatted and doxed the day before. This is a smaller VTuber by the name of Saki Nightshade on Twitter. And you can see if you look at her tweets, here she has a tweet saying, oh my god, I'm so excited, my dreams are coming true, etc, etc. In other words, she just got an email saying that she was accepted into VShojo. And then the next tweet right after that, here saying that the police are at my door, I don't know what's going on, I'm very scared. That is when she actually got swatted by this asshole.
After this, Nux gets half, if not all, of the scammer's stuff taken down along with a bunch of other stuff that I'm eligible to talk about. So with all of that, you might be wondering, well, Nux did a good thing. Surely he was praised for his efforts into at least stopping the heinous act, right? Well, unfortunately, not all. After the video was released, some of the reception wasn't very greeted with open arms, which then kicked off to what happens next after the video. Shortly after Nux published his video, some felt like it came off as poor taste. Those people mostly came from the 8 VShojo girls. They took to Twitter to express how they felt disappointed in what Nux did, saying that this put the VShojo girls' safety at harm. This then had everyone shift their eyes onto Nux, seeing him as the villain in the scenario, because apparently Nux was told beforehand to not upload the video and or take it down, but Nux didn't follow through their request, along with the tweets of the VShojo girls, and with VShojo making a tweet of their own that mentions about the scammer and the stuff that Nux mentioned. This did make people take their word on it, and now Nux was public enemy number 1. But now we get into something bizarre. Something that turns the tide of this whole situation to something that raises more questions than what we initially thought. With the internet basically having their aiming reticle on Nux, Nux felt like he needed to issue a response to the backlash with a tweet longer that talks about how that the scammer was investigated and how Nux still fully stands by his decision to bring up the situation to light. But now, this is where things get interesting. In the tweet longer, Nux mentions that he was not requested to refrain from uploading the video. He was even in a 4-hour conversation with the chief cybersecurity officer by an executive and even one of the members of VShojo, which was later on to be found as Melody. So you might be wondering, what's the issue here? What is so confusing about this? Well, it turns out that VShojo knew about the scammer, but decided not to act on it. So Nux felt like he should bring it to everyone's awareness. However, not only did VShojo know about the scammer and the threat he could cause, they knew about it 8 months ago before Nux brought it up.
I got spotted the next day. Yeah.
You didn't get hurt, right?
And then when I looked into it, no, I didn't.
Good.
When I looked into it further, I had found that they knew about it. They've known about it for probably 9 months. Phoenix said that, yeah, he's known about it for, roughly 9 months or so. It just felt like, mid-June, they could have been like, hey, people are trying to impersonate us, but we're going to be doing a recruitment. Don't reply to anything unless, you see official Twitter posts or something. And there you go. That's it. That could have been the whole thing. That would have stopped them dead in their tracks.
Right. And that's what I've been saying from like the very beginning of this. You specifically shedding some light on when exactly this started was like super helpful for me, because like I knew about the VShojo.net domain that they kind of conveniently don't put into their
I'm just pulling the 9 months out of my ass, you guys. It was like March, so that's 8-ish months, 7 and a half.
It doesn't matter. It wasn't like just
long.
recently. This has been going on for way too long. They haven't like secured these domains, and they haven't like reached out to indie VTubers that freaking apply to them to be like, hey, be careful out there. Like that if they had done that, then that would have been fine.
Obviously, that's bad. And while yes, investigations can take a very long time to even finalize everything that goes into it, I can't see a reason for why VShojo wouldn't warn the talent in private about the scammer, or even make a small statement about it. That way, there would be more high alert in case the scammer was to ever send someone an email. But wait, it gets worse. It was then later found out that the scammer had helpers with their own selective targets in the video they uploaded to their own channel, where they are clearly shown talking about it. So not only did VShojo know about these scammers way beforehand, but they also put people at risk. I don't know about you, but I think that's kind of messed up. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no. Because we still have the CEO's statement on the matter. On his message board, the Gunrun talks about how the conversation that he and Nux had was just one big miscommunication. They also make the claim that Nux is lying and they never gave him the approval of his initial video, along with Nux ignoring their request to edit certain parts. However, we know that can't be the case, when the messages that Nux and Gunrun had were legitimate Discord messages, along with the Gunrun even thanking Nux afterwards, and even with them telling Nux that they don't have a problem with Nux uploading the video. But in the message board, they are claiming that they didn't give Nux permission to upload the video, but also that Nux never came to them directly, which this statement comes off as a lie, when the messages that we see Nux and VShojo have counteracts this whole "we didn't give Nux permission and he never came to us directly" statement. So why the hostility? Why were the VShojo girls so mad about it? Most notably, why did Nanners take offense to the issue? Well, the most common theory as to why everyone got so mad is because it made VShojo look incompetent during the whole ordeal.
A second theory, and one that feels like it could be a little more real, is that VShojo was trying to save face because of their own incompetence with the phishing incidents. In order to not look bad to the girls that they had signed to their agency, they published statements afterwards to make it look as though everything was handled, when in reality, behind the scenes, things were not treated with nearly as much severity as they should have. There was clearly some internal incompetence at play, we can say that much. VShojo thought that the video was a good idea, or at least wouldn't be harmful, hence why Nux was never told not to post it. But then, the video came out, and Nanners and many of her friends had their little blow-up moment where they freaked the fuck out. And so VShojo, coming to the realization that they were extremely mad, thought to themselves, oh no, it can't seem like we didn't handle this issue properly. They can't know that we were okay with the video being made, and we're fully aware of this cybersecurity risk for months. Let's tell them that we told Nux it wasn't okay to post the video. And then the entire situation would spiral from there.
Which feels like it could very well be the case, considering everything that transpired. But in the end, that's very much so just a theory that we can't say for certain is correct or not. As of this moment, everyone in the case has since moved on from the situation, with discussion of the topic publicly being ceased. Every one of the VShojo girls have since focused on other things, and the company is still striving to this very day. As for Nux, he has since made a video about moving forward from all of this, and even talked about his experience in the podcast that he and Mutahar, aka Some Ordinary Gamers, host. But before we end off this video, this leads me to my final conclusion. Which side was right during the whole thing? With the evidence that was provided and how both parties treated things on the matter, I'm inclined to side with Nux being the one in the right during the whole drama. It makes enough sense as to why Nux would have wanted to raise awareness of the potential harm that the scammer could have done if the situation escalated further. than what it got. It can also be pointed out that Nux had the most level-headedness compared to the VShojo girls and the company when dealing with the situation. If there had to be something to take from this case, it will probably have to be this. Risk comes in many things, and actions can sometimes ignite that risk more. But it also depends on how you act during it. Where do your intentions lie? Is it something that you are doing because you find an interest to have some of your peers to hate you? Or is it to prevent something from getting way bigger than it can be that can put many more people in danger because you feel like it's the right thing to do? I have been Trickyreborn Studios, and this has been a look into the case of Nux Taku and VShojo. Finally, woo! After a whole year, this has finally been completed. I have spent a lot of time onto this project ever since this whole ordeal happened around November of 2021. And I meant to get this out sooner, but I debated on myself if I should continue on with it or not. But then something told me when I was reading the script again to finish it. I couldn't just leave this high and dry. So I took it upon myself to finish what I started all the way back in November of 2021. And now I can finally get this off of my radar. This is the first time I've ever done a video before in this style where I analyze a certain case. I actually really enjoyed doing this. Would hopefully like to do more down the line. There's one that I would really like to do that if you was to tell me what would be the next analytic case video, and that would be the one on the Logan Paul controversies. But that's down the line. I would have to look at into everything when it comes to Logan Paul's controversies. I'm interested in how this video would be received because of how long it has been. If you feel like I've gotten anything wrong or if I misunderstood something within this case, do feel free to let me know either in the comments or in my DMs on Twitter. But this has been a very fun video, and I will hope that you enjoyed it. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.